Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you can see behind me this red coupe car. Most of you guys will probably know who it is. It's at Just a Mess. It's his car. Oh goodness, it's been probably a month ago now. We were talking. He said my car's making a funny noise. I was like, well, send me a video, let me hear it. I'll put the video in here. As you guys heard that video right there, I listened to it and my first instinct was something that's happened to me before. I'm sure it has happened to some of you guys too, but I was like, I asked him, I said, does it have oil pressure? He's like, well, the gauge doesn't really work right, but it doesn't appear to have any oil pressure. So the next thing I said, it sounds to me like it does not have any oil pressure. So I had him go get an oil pressure gauge. He went and bought one from Harbor Freight. Took the sensor out. Oh, my nose itches. But he plugged it in, saw it had zero oil pressure. I told him, I said, either the oil pump shaft has broke and or the oil pump is locked up, which is probably the oil pump locked up and then twisted the shaft. But he brought, I went and got it. We got it here, and I had to look the day I got it here. I put it all back together so you guys could see it. But I pulled the distributor out, went to turn the oil pump shaft, it just fell off in the oil pan. So now we are going to drop the oil pan. I have a new milling oil pump, a new ARP oil pump shaft. It's hard to twist these things off. That's what I've had this in my car for years now. New oil pan gasket, and we're also going to do an intake gasket while it's here because it was leaking at Foxtoberfest. He just hadn't got around to fixing that yet. So we're going to jump into this thing. I'm going to try to show you guys as much as I can on changing this out. But what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to drain the oil, of course, and then loosen the oil pan. And I think we're going to hook the cherry picker to it up here and lift it a little bit to be able to get the oil pan out. So we're going to do that, and I'll try to show you guys as much as I can. Excuse me. But I know sometimes that I get in a rush and I forget the video, and I apologize. But I will try to document as much of this as I can, and we'll go from there. So stick around and let's jump into this thing. Alright guys, my battery went dead, so you missed me getting the upper intake off. And I couldn't stop in the middle to replace the battery. My hands were all greasy with my gloves and everything. Anyway, I'm sorry, but I got the upper intake off. Got the cherry picker hooked to the motor. We jacked it up. I got the oil pump out. As you can see, hopefully you can see this. The oil pump shaft tried to hold on and it just twisted into a candy cane before it broke. So it tried to hold on as long as it could, but obviously the oil pump had locked up. But anyway, I'm going to put the new oil pump in, the new shaft. The motor wasn't knocking when I got it here. The valves were just ticking, so I'm hoping the roller lifters kind of saved the cam. Because when this had happened to me before in Maxine, it was a flat tappet cam. So when the oil pump broke, it just ate the cam off. But I'm hoping that the roller lifter saved the cam. And we're going to put it back together with a new oil pump and shaft, gaskets, all that stuff, and see how it does. We're going to roll the dice. And if the motor has to come out then, the motor has to come out then. We're trying to save it at the moment and just roll with it. So let's get this thing put back together. And also, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it in this video or not. If it's going to be a separate video, I got to change the intake gasket. But I may wrap this one up with the. Well, sorry, I'm thinking out loud here. I probably will go ahead and put the upper intake gasket or the intake gasket on, so we can fire it up and see how it does all together. If it has to come back off, it has to come back off. If we have to pull the motor, we have to pull the motor. But let's see, fingers crossed, that we don't have to do anything to this motor, and let's go. Let's get this thing back together. Alright guys, we got the oil pump back on. Oil pump drive shaft is back in. Here I have the upper intake, or the lower intake was leaking and had a gasket blown out, so we're fixing that while we're at it. And while I was in there, I just couldn't let this go by. This is, if you've deleted your smog pump and you still have this on your car, it just gets in the way with your headers because this comes around. Sorry, I'm moving all around here. But this just comes around, it's in the way of your headers, and if you're changing spark plugs or whatever. I've did this to mine a long time ago when I had stock heads, but all I'm going to do, I'm going to cut right here, then just I'm going to leave a little bit, beat it down in there, and just weld it shut. And then we'll bolt it back on the head, that way there's no exhaust leak. It just helps clean up the engine bay. But shh, don't tell Jesse. I'm not telling him I'm doing this, but he told me to treat it like it was my car. So I did this to my car, I'm doing it to his. This is just a quick easy thing to just to clean up the engine bay. So I'm gonna do this real quick, and then we're gonna do a couple other things, like I'm gonna paint the intake while it's off, because it's off and it looks kind of grody. So we're gonna clean that up and repaint it while it's off, and do a couple other things just to clean up the engine bay. Why not? You have it off, it's like $10 for a can of paint, $5-6 for some carburetor cleaner or something like that to clean it with. Why not do it? Alright guys, I got the pipe cut off. I'm going to show you the way I did it. So I cut it off and left about this much. If you can see, I hope that shows up. Let me see here. Now just cut pie shapes, or just cut slits into it all the way around. Now just took a ball peen hammer, hammered them down in like that. Now I'll just take my welder and fill that in. Which, if you don't have a welder, you could probably use like some high heat JB Weld or something like that, because it is exhaust gas that's hitting it, so you need something that would withstand some high heat. But this is a little tech tip within this video. Alright guys, here we go. All hammered down and welded. See, they're still smoking. Now all we'll do is bolt these back on the head. Easy peasy cleanup. This took about probably 10-15 minutes. That's it. All right, guys, it's been a couple days. We're back on Jesse's car. I got the intake changed, or intake gasket changed, and cleaned up a couple things underneath the hood. We'll go over that in a little bit, but right now I'm gonna give it the first fire. Let's pray we got oil pressure. Pray that all the noises go away. It may take a little bit for the noises to go away, for the lifters to build back up and all that stuff, but fingers crossed we have a good motor still. Pressurize the fuel system. We gotta check for leaks. I think we're all good. Alright guys, this thing is running. No ticking, no knocking. Got an exhaust leak, but that's about it. She is back in action. Just got to get the timing dialed in. And got a little bit of exhaust leak I got to fix, but she is back. Can't say anything about a 302 pushrod motor. They are tough. Hang on a minute and I'll explain everything I did. I'm just pumped right now, guys. Alright guys, I am so pumped that this engine is still good. I knew in my mind that it would be. Well, I felt that it was going to be. But you never know till you fire it back up. But I was so pumped that it was good. But I've got it done. I got an exhaust leak to fix from where I took some of the smog stuff off. But what we did, or what I did, fix the oil pump, which you saw earlier in this video. I had to change the intake gasket, it was leaking. But other than that, I just cleaned up a few things. Don't tell Jesse, but I repainted his air intake because it was all scratched up and needed to be polished. But, you know, did that, repainted the intake for him, painted valve covers, just clean it up a little bit. Did an EGR delete. Deleted the crossover tube in the back. Got rid of all the vacuum lines and things like that that didn't need to be done. Just tidied up some hoses. New insulation on here. That was, I tried that. Tried a new trick on that. We'll see how it holds up. If it holds up good, I'll do a video on how to make it to where it doesn't just look like insulation there. Other than that, new thermostat, new distributor cap. I'm still going to straighten up the spark plug wires and organize those a little better, just to make it look a little nicer underneath. But other than that, we're done and ready to ride. I think we're going to do some mufflers and stuff, but that'll probably be a different video. But anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm out of here.